Yo-ho! Good morning. It's Wednesday, May the 2nd. It's 5 o'clock, right on the nose. Welcome to hour number 8 of the 24 Hours of Action, where every day is a peek inside my process of creating content, where the emphasis is on consistency and action, not perfection. Every day I dedicate 1 hour of action to creating a podcast episode, a blog post, and a YouTube video for you. My whole philosophy here is telling you about my journey while it's happening. You know, there's plenty of resources out there where you can read about someone's journey after it's over, and it can be carefully curated and thoughtfully put together. Well, I'm going to do that too, but right now, this is the journey as I'm on it. You're right here with me in the passenger seat, and sometimes maybe even in the driver's seat, just riding along on this 24 hours of action to see where it takes us. This is hour number 8. Had a really exciting couple of hours yesterday. The 24 Hours of Action podcast was featured in Apple Podcasts under the business category, and it was listed number 10. If you were to browse the business category of Apple Podcasts, you'd have seen 24 Hours of Action right there in the number 10 spot for just a couple of hours, and had a nice little bump on my downloads, which was super exciting. And it just kind of proves that, one, either I'm very, very lucky, or that people are enjoying this podcast. And Apple, whatever's going on in their algorithm, they decided that this is a podcast we should show near the top of the feed. And number 10 is where it sat for about 3 or 4 hours yesterday. Super excited about that. Quick housekeeping real quick. I know I say this every day, but I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to keep saying it every day. Get on that mailing list over at 24hoursofAction.com. I've actually got a few videos that I shot this morning and some little behind the scenes stuff that I'm going to be shooting out to that mailing list here today. And also daily topics. I love taking requests for daily topics. I'll try to get to as many of them as I can, and that's exactly how you're going to submit those daily topics, is right there through the email list. Once you subscribe, you'll have a direct line to me, and hopefully get your topic here covered over these remaining 16 days of the 24 Hours of Action. Did I do that math right? 24 minus 8, 16. All right. It's 5 a.m. and Aaron is doing math. Look out. So the other day, I talked about the idea of putting your plans and putting your ideas out into the world, shouting them from the rooftops, and how that engages your brain, and how, for me at least, once I put an idea or a plan or some intention out into the world, I suddenly start having these ideas that weren't really there before. They kind of start just coming seemingly out of nowhere, and I feel like it's now that my brain is working for me. Now that I've put some idea out into the world, it's my subconscious is sort of helping me achieve this goal or this intention. And I'm not really a woo-woo type of person. Definitely not a psychologist. I just know what I've experienced. And I wanted to talk about that a little more because I have a specific tactic that I use that I didn't even realize was a tactic. And it's been a game changer for me. And it's something simple that most of us can do. And it's walking. I walk every day. On a perfect day, I walk 30 minutes. I walk for 30 minutes 3 times a day. That's a perfect day. 2 times is more realistic on most days. But it's during these walking times, that I would say 90% of my ideas come to me. There's something about the act of walking outside that just clears my head and kind of gets me into a state where suddenly things just start popping in there, and it's difficult to describe. These ideas just don't come during the regular course of my day. Otherwise, when I'm at work, if I'm sitting there focusing on a project or other conversations, your brain is doing other things. But when you can get it clear and get the blood flowing, and for me, it's walking. And I know I've talked to folks who are big advocates for various forms of meditation. I haven't really experimented with that much, but I haven't heard a bad thing about it from folks who try it. But I feel like it's all kind of centered around that same concept of being able to clear your mind and then just your mind goes to work for you during that period. I don't have a better way to describe it. It's just your mind knows what you're trying to accomplish because you've made such a dramatic effort to put that intention out into the world, and then your brain goes to work for you. That's what it's there for. And as far as finding times to walk, to exercise, to meditate, whatever it is that works best for you to clear your mind and to get those ideas coming. For me, finding time to walk isn't always easy. So I found just some little ways, little tactics, and one of them, this may sound silly, but it's absolutely true, and it works for me. I work in a 10-story building, and whenever it's reasonable, it's not always reasonable, but whenever it's reasonable, whenever I need to use the restroom, I walk down all 10 flights of stairs across the street to a park where there's a public restroom, and that's where I go to the bathroom. And it's just a small little thing, a small little change I made to my day, but it builds in, 5 to 7 minutes of walking round trip that normally would just be down the hall and back. And during those few minutes, that's when, some of my best ideas have come during that time. I keep my phone with me. I use Google Keep, and I just jot in a quick bullet, a quick note, something to keep that idea fresh, because those ideas will go away. Trust me. If you don't write them down, they're gone. You think you're going to remember them. You think this is an idea that's going to change the world. There's no way I'm going to forget it. You'll forget it. At least I do. And one other thing too, I talked briefly about the mastermind principle the other day, the idea of having a group of people all sort of focused on the same goal, and how the power of your minds collectively is greater than the sum of the parts. 1 + 2 = 3. Listening to podcasts for me has been given me at least some of those benefits of that mastermind principle. And I listen to podcasts while I'm walking, and excuse me, great ideas come out of great conversations. And listening to podcasts for me, it's like having a great conversation, or at least being part of a great conversation with inspiring people every day. And at least gives me some of the benefits of that mastermind principle. So again, go back and check out the episode. Gosh, I wish I had it in front of me. I believe it was hour number 5, where I talked about the mastermind principle. But anyway, I'll link it up in the show notes so you can check it out. That's enough for me today, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up and get a blog post together and post this podcast and the video that accompanies it. And we are going to move on with our day. That's going to do it for hour number 8 of the 24 Hours of Action. Once again, head over to 24 Hours of Action, jump on that mailing list. And there are still spots available if you want to get on my calendar. There's a link right there at 24 Hours of Action. You can get on my calendar and you can actually have a quick chat with me right here on the podcast over one of these remaining 15 days now, the 24 Hours of Action. No, that's right. That's wrong. It's 16 days. Don't listen to me. It's too early. All right, my friend. Have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to you later. Bye.